Hello and welcome back to Mr. and Mrs. Social Studies. My name is Sarah, and in today's video I'll be sharing specific lesson ideas and teaching strategies and activities you can use in your Ancient Rome unit. And this video is done in continuation of our Ancient Civilizations video teaching series. I will leave all of the other videos linked below, and these are great resources if you're looking for some guidance in how to structure your lessons. That being said, there's also a PDF version of what I'll be sharing today linked below as well. That's available as a freebie in our Teachers Pay Teachers store. So you can also check that out if you prefer to have a written version of this rather than just scrolling through the links in the description field. Anyway, let's jump right in. As you know, if you've watched these videos before, we always love to start out with some foundational vocabulary skills, no matter what unit we're talking about. And one of our favorite ways to do that is through our Google Drive vocabulary activities, which are such an easy thing that you can incorporate throughout your unit whenever you've got extra pockets of time to use, or you need like a different warm-up for the day or something like that. And these words do align perfectly with our Ancient Rome word wall, which can also be a good fit. A great video resource that can be a good introduction for your Ancient Rome unit comes from National Geographic, Ancient Rome 101. We really like this series. They put it together very well. The only downside about the Ancient Rome video is that they do show some naked art in reference to the Greeks. That's in the second half of the video. So depending upon the age level and maturity of your students, that can go either way. But it is always, one of the challenging parts about, especially at the middle school level, teaching ancient civilizations. So you would have to make the call on that. But the video overall is really good, so I think it can be worth it, but you could always skip a part or just show the first half if you'd like. Getting into some geography, we have a Google Earth field trip, and our students are obsessed with using Google Earth. It really brings these locations to life, and we add a little puzzle element of it, which is pretty fun. And there's also a pretty interesting YouTube video we found called What Would Ancient Rome Look Like, that uses some 3D animations to kind of bring what Rome might have looked like to life. And overall, it's really good, and it's a helpful way for students to visualize it a little bit more, especially with architecture, maybe a little bit with geography as well. So that could also be an interesting resource to share with your students. The group that made them also put together a Greece and Egypt one, which I was not aware of when we made those videos. So that could also be worth checking out the alternative options. Now, throughout Rome's history, it certainly went through quite the evolution. We've got the Republic, the Empire, the transition between the two, and a whole lot more. And to really try to do this justice with our students and help them understand these changes, we ended up creating a reader's theater that takes them through literally all of the steps. And in our own situation, it did align with the textbook sections as well. We made sure that we covered all the important details. With the Reader's Theater, it can be a nice way to mix up your teaching and do something a bit more engaging and exciting with them. There is some humor involved as well. In the Reader's Theater, it starts out going over the legend of Romulus and Remus. There's also the discussion of the patricians and plebeians. There's details about the three branches of the Roman Republic. A closer look at Julius Caesar and the events in his life. We've got the first and second triumvirate as well, included in some dialogue there. Of course, then different situations throughout the Roman Empire, several key emperors addressed, as well as the fall of Rome. So there's 6 different scenes tied together with an activity at the end. And this is just, again, a great way, all in one, to really go step by step through Rome's history and giving the students a chance to take on these roles, a little bit of acting, a little bit of humor, especially if Rome is your last unit of the year. This is such a fun way to end the year, and I hope you'll consider checking that out. Now, there was one section of our textbook that we did not include in the Reader's Theater, and that has to do with the legacy of ancient Rome. looking specifically at a lot of the different inventions that have influenced modern times. So we do have a Google slideshow that we use to help cover those topics and for students to better understand those topics. So if you do choose to do the Reader's Theater and don't want to leave that legacy section out, we've got you covered there with that as well. Another one of our favorite free resources for ancient Rome come from SHEG, Stanford History Education Group. I think we probably talk about them every time, but we do find their stuff to be really high quality. They have a pretty interesting resource that examines how democratic was the Roman Republic. This is a bit similar to their option for ancient Greece, but again, there's so many different similarities between the Roman government as well as US government today, so it can be helpful to pause and kind of look back at some of these key details. And I think they always do a great job with primary sources as well. So definitely worth checking out if you're interested. Now, to talk about different people of the Roman Empire, or leaders from even the Roman Republic as well, we've got two different ideas that could fit really nicely with your classroom. One of which is our job fair. This is something we've talked about each unit, and we put together resumes that cover different leaders. The ancient Rome job fair set includes resumes for Julius Caesar, Augustus, Cicero, and Constantine. Of course, there are many different emperors and leaders that we could have chosen, but we tried to get kind of a well-rounded group, as well as no Rome set of leaders would be complete without Julius Caesar and Augustus. Those are two of the most well-known. So with that in mind, that is one option. If you're looking for more of a research or project opportunity for students, you might prefer the historical baseball card project with the different leaders of both the Roman Republic as well as the Roman Empire. You've got more choices there for students, and that's a very simple project that they can do on their own. And you could even turn it into a game, like some sort of guessing game or puzzle after students have all created their baseball cards if you wanted. So again, those are linked below, two different options there. The Colosseum, I know, is something that can be pretty fascinating for students, and it's probably one of the most iconic Rome images that people might think about. We did find a really cool TED Ed video about the Colosseum. It does address how they filled water up into the Colosseum to have these sea battles, but they also do provide a lot of good background information about the Colosseum. We also have a reading passage and a really cool graphic organizer activity that students can use to better understand some of the specifics behind the Colosseum and its history, and how even what we know of it today is just a fraction of what it used to be. Another fun addition to your ancient Rome unit might be to cover Pompeii. And with that in mind, Pompeii is so fascinating. There's lots of different layers that we can look at with it. And so we incorporated those in a Pompeii station activity. So there's some coverage on a timeline of events, the geography of the area and where Pompeii was located in relation to Mount Vesuvius. There's a little bit more information about Mount Vesuvius and its history of eruptions. We also have some primary sources there from Pliny the Younger. And there's some good discussion questions that help us connect Pompeii to modern times and of how we protect the site today. It definitely gives a range of perspectives and ways to think about Pompeii, which can be helpful for our students. And it does have both printable or digital options. So you can either use it as a station activity and post the stations around your classroom, or you can have students complete the work on their device. In our own teaching thus far, we have not done a lot with Christianity and the Roman Empire, so we would not consider ourselves to be experts on that topic yet, or we don't have personal experience to share on that yet, but SHEG does have a resource that looks at why the Romans were persecuting Christians. So that could be helpful if you're looking for something like that. Lastly, we always put together a really simple no prep activity sheet that you can use just for that day when you have early finishers, or if you've got to take an emergency day off, or maybe it's not even an emergency. If you've got a personal day left at the end of the year, take it. You deserve that extra day off. And with that, this one focuses on some Roman numerals in addition to a little bit more of the vocab practice and review. All that being said, we've got so many different Rome resources, and we hope you'll want to give these a try. Like I said at the beginning of the video, you can get a PDF version of what we talked about today by heading to the link in the description field of this video. And also, if you're interested in a lot of the resources I mentioned, we do have them bundled together in our TPT store, so you can save actually 30% off of them if you purchase them through the bundle. Please let us know any questions that you have about ancient Rome teaching or anything else related to social studies, and we'll be able to get right back to you and support you. And if you'd like to check out some of our past Ancient Civ videos, you can do that over here. We'll see you next time. Bye.